What if I told you that your evening routine is slowly destroying your future? Not your job, not your circumstances, not your lack of money, your evenings. There was a man named Joseph who discovered this truth too late. For 10 years, he watched his dreams dissolve into the blue glow of a television screen. 10 years of "I'll start tomorrow." 10 years of exhaustion that never seemed to end. Then one evening, a stranger taught him something called the 9 p.m. rule. What happened next didn't just change his career. It resurrected his soul. Joseph lived in a small apartment above a laundromat in the eastern part of the city. Every night, the rumble of washing machines vibrated through his floor like a mechanical heartbeat. He was 36 years old. He worked as a warehouse supervisor, loading boxes from 6 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. It was honest work. It paid the bills. But it hollowed him out from the inside. By the time Joseph climbed the narrow staircase to his apartment each day, his body felt like it belonged to someone twice his age. His shoulders slumped. His eyes carried a permanent fog. He had a ritual. Every single evening, without fail, he would microwave yesterday's leftovers. He would collapse onto his brown corduroy couch, and he would reach for the remote control like a man reaching for medicine. The television would flicker to life, and Joseph would disappear. Game shows, reality programs, endless news cycles repeating the same fears. He told himself he deserved this rest. He told himself that tomorrow would be different. But tomorrow never came. The tragedy of Joseph's life was not poverty. It was the silent murder of his potential. You see, Joseph had a gift. His hands could repair anything. Clocks, radios, small engines. As a teenager, neighbors would bring him broken appliances, and he would resurrect them with patience and precision. He had dreamed of opening a repair shop. A small place with wooden shelves and the smell of machine oil. A place where broken things found new life. But dreams require energy. And Joseph had convinced himself he had none left. Every evening, as the television droned, a small voice would whisper in his mind, "You should practice. You should learn business. You should build something." And every evening, a louder voice would answer, "You're too tired. You worked hard today. You deserve to rest. Start next week." Next week became next month. Next month became next year. The toolbox his father had given him gathered dust in the closet. The books about small business ownership remained unread on the shelf. The dream grew quieter and quieter until Joseph could barely hear it anymore. One night, he caught his reflection in the dark television screen during a commercial break. He saw a man he didn't recognize. Gray at the temples. Empty in the eyes. He was 36, but he looked 50. "Where did I go?" he whispered to the silence. The washing machines below rumbled their indifferent reply. The breaking point came on an ordinary Tuesday. Joseph received a phone call. His childhood friend Marcus had died. Heart attack. 41 years old. At the funeral, Joseph stood before the casket and felt something crack inside his chest. Marcus had also worked at a warehouse. Marcus had also been tired every evening. Marcus had also been waiting for the right time to start living. The right time never came. Walking home from the cemetery, Joseph felt rain begin to fall. He didn't open his umbrella. He let the water soak through his coat, hoping it might wash away the numbness. He stopped at a small park and sat on a wet bench, watching the sky grow dark. That's when he noticed the old woman. She sat at the other end of the bench, perfectly dry beneath a large black umbrella. She was reading a book, seemingly unbothered by the weather or the strange man crying beside her. Joseph wiped his face. "I'm sorry, I just came from a funeral." The woman looked up. Her eyes were sharp and clear, filled with a brightness that seemed impossible for someone her age. "Death has a way of waking us up," she said softly. "The question is whether we stay awake." Joseph laughed bitterly. "I've been sleepwalking for 10 years. I don't think I know how to wake up anymore." The woman closed her book. "What time do you finish work?" 3 in the afternoon. "And what time do you sleep?" "Around midnight." "That's 9 hours," she said. "What do you do with 9 hours every day?" Joseph opened his mouth, then closed it. He felt shame rising in his throat. "I rest," he finally said. "I watch television. I'm exhausted, you see." The old woman smiled gently. "You're not exhausted from work, young man. You're exhausted from betraying yourself. The soul grows tired when it's ignored." She leaned closer. "Let me ask you something important. Who owns your 9 p.m.? Joseph blinked. "What do you mean?" The woman pulled out a small notebook from her bag. Its pages were filled with sketches, notes, and diagrams. "I was a seamstress for 40 years, she said. "I sewed buttons and hemmed pants in a factory. My fingers bled. My back ached. Every evening, I wanted nothing more than to collapse and disappear." She turned a page, revealing a beautiful dress design. But I made a promise to myself. At 9 p.m., no matter how tired I was, I would give myself 1 hour. Just one. I would sketch. I would study fashion. I would create. Joseph stared at the drawings. They were extraordinary. 1 hour seemed so small, he said. Small. The woman laughed. 1 hour a night is 7 hours a week. 30 hours a month. 365 hours a year. Do you know what that equals in 10 years? Joseph shook his head. 3,650 hours, she said. That's the equivalent of working a full-time job for almost 2 years. 2 years of dedicated practice, hidden inside your evenings. She closed the notebook. I now own a small boutique. I design wedding dresses. I was 62 when I finally opened it. But I was ready, because I had spent 30 years preparing, 1 hour at a time. The rain began to slow. The 9 p.m. rule is simple, she continued. At 9 o'clock, you turn off the noise, you turn off the screen, and you work on the thing that makes your soul come alive. Not for money, not for anyone else, for you. Joseph walked home differently that night. The apartment felt smaller somehow. The television looked like a thief. At 8:55 p.m., he stood in his living room, heart pounding. At exactly 9 p.m., he walked to the closet and pulled out his father's toolbox. He wiped the dust from its surface. He opened it slowly, like a man opening a letter from someone he loved. The first night, he simply held the tools. He remembered their weight. He remembered who he used to be. The second night, he repaired a broken clock from the thrift store. The third night, he watched a tutorial on small engine repair. Week 1 was uncomfortable. Month 1 was transformative. By month 6, neighbors were bringing him broken appliances. By year 2, he was charging for his services. By year 5, he signed a lease on a small shop with wooden shelves and the smell of machine oil. He called it tomorrow's repair shop, because tomorrow had finally arrived. 10 years will pass whether you use them or not. The television will always be there. The excuses will always sound reasonable. The tiredness will always feel real. But so will the dream you keep postponing. You don't need to change everything tonight. You just need to protect 1 hour, 60 minutes between you and the life you secretly long for. So tonight, when the clock strikes 9, ask yourself the question that changed Joseph's life. Who owns your 9 p.m.? Because whoever owns that hour owns your future. And right now, that owner should be you.